So I think changes in the media and tech arenas have sort of radically changed the way that we approach both creating and managing brands. So if you think about just having at your fingertips access to millions of conversations that are going on about your market, about your competitors, and if you've already launched them, about your products and services, that's a hugely valuable resource. And I think it's a huge source of inspiration for brand authors. So that's something that's really changed. And I don't really know what we did without it. Maybe we did a lot more market research, sure. The other thing that's really changed is that I think brand owners have really had to come to accept that the content that you professionally produce has to sit alongside content that is spoofing your content created by customers. It sits alongside very poisonous reviews as well as very positive reviews, and this whole kind of ecosystem creates a kind of orbit around your brand that goes to really form your brand image. So customers are kind of doing it for themselves and really being part of brand creation. I think that leads on to my last point about how things have changed really. The whole concept of being in beta is something that's really been pioneered by the tech companies, but now it's really filtered into popular culture, and I think customers no longer really expect things to be polished and finished and kind of ready. They're really prepared to take part in things, make services better for companies, and that's a huge shift, and it's something that's really positive, I think. So social media are providing plenty of great new opportunities for brands to communicate with customers. I think the first of which is really personal one-to-one communications with thousands of people, which is something that brands have never really had, not in that kind of instantaneous way anyway. I suppose customers have always written letters in, but this is instant, it's real, and it's brands kind of talking in a much more laid back, much more personal tone to their customers. So that's the first thing, and that's hugely valuable. Another thing is that brands through social media, through Twitter, through Facebook, are able to offer real improvements in customer service as well. So they can neutralise the kind of really vociferous critics by responding to their complaints and doing it quickly and doing it well. And they can also really amplify some of the good stuff that's being said about them, which is really positive. And there are some great examples of brands doing that to fantastic effect. So I heard the CEO of Best Buy India talking about this, and he was saying that they now offer their customers the opportunity when something's wrong with one of their appliances or they can't get something to work to tweet the problem, and that allows all of their employees, all their team members who are signed up to Twitter, to give them instant help and feedback. And that help is not only visible to the customer, but to all the other customers who might be experiencing the same problem, so it's hugely powerful. And then the third thing that social media offers brands is a whole new channel to market. So if you look at JetBlue kind of selling low-cost, last-minute flights through their Twitter feed and directing people to the great deals that are available. If you look at sort of content creators, like a good example of that is Justin Halpin. He ran his Twitter feed, Shit My Dad Says, which then turned into a book, and it's really popular, really funny. We really enjoyed that, and there are also numerous examples of music artists kind of breaking through on sites like MySpace too, so I think it's a really great channel to market as well. Absolutely. I do think that some brands have been too slow to adopt a comprehensive social media strategy, and there are always going to be brands that lag behind when new opportunities come up, particularly in the digital world. But I also think that some brands have been too quick, and that it can be quite damaging if you rush onto social media without a clear idea of why you're there, what you can offer customers that's different and unique, and what's going to keep people coming back. You have to dedicate real resources and thought and time and effort to getting your social media presence right, and I think brands that haven't nailed that in the beginning have kind of suffered as a result. So it's important to think about these things carefully and do it properly. So one project that we're working on at the moment that we're really excited about is for Orange Valley, which is an innovation team at the heart of Orange Telecommunications. And they're working on a new app for Android. It's available in beta right now. It's called On, and the idea behind it is that they'd like to make mobile communication is much more personal. So the app gives you the opportunity to create different profiles for different groups of people in your life. So it could be one for your friends, it could be one for your work colleagues, it could be one for family, maybe one for your boyfriend or girlfriend, husband or wife, and to really share the right information with those people at the right time. So rather than with Facebook, where you're broadcasting status updates to absolutely everyone, this allows you to be much more personal, much more yourself, and not to put your foot in it and say the wrong thing to the wrong people. So you can share information about where you are, what you're up to, and also bring all the good stuff in from your social networks. So you can bring in the stuff from your Twitter feeds, from your Facebook, and you can really surface the communications from the people who matter most to you, rather than having to wade through absolutely everything in your social media feeds. And also, one last thing that we think is really amazing, that you can change your availability for these different groups. So your phone will ring or vibrate or go on silent depending on who you want to speak to at that particular time. So we think this is really changing things, and it's a really exciting product.